What's up, everybody? Welcome to HSM Wednesday. Thank you for being here with us tonight. And full disclosure, before we get started, it is like raining and storming and thundering like crazy outside right now. So if you hear any weird noises or any thunder, that's what it is. Before we jump into our lesson tonight, if you will do me a favor and subscribe to this channel and hit that like button, because we are trying to grow this channel for our church so that we can use it to reach even more people. So go ahead and subscribe and like for me. As you know, we have been going through a series called Now and Later, and we've been talking about godly wisdom and how using godly wisdom now can lead us to a better future later. And so tonight, I want to get started by just asking you a couple of questions. Number one, how many of you have ever been accused of using your words as some sort of weapon? Have you ever been accused of using your words as a weapon? And as I think about it, I've definitely been accused of that. But also, how many of you have ever known what it feels like to put your foot in your mouth? Now, not literally, because I am definitely not flexible enough for that. But have you ever put your foot in your mouth? Have you ever said something that you shouldn't have said? And to be completely honest, you guys who know me well know that I'm someone who can struggle with my words. I have a tendency to speak before I think, or to say things that just aren't good things to say at the time. I've been trying over time and as I get older to work on my filter, but it doesn't always happen the way it's supposed to. See, the thing is that everybody, each and every one of us, we handle conflict differently. And conflict is something that is inevitable. It's going to happen. Whenever we get people together, there is going to be conflict. And how you respond in conflict depends a lot on who you are. Some people yell. Some people get really quiet and laid back. Some people get defensive and blame others. And I want you to think about, how do you handle conflict? Which one of these applies to you? Are you the person who just gets really quiet and kind of goes in the corner whenever there's conflict? Are you someone who gets loud and aggressive when there's conflict? How do you respond? But see, no matter how we respond to a conflict, our words take center stage. Words are at the center of our conflicts. And you see, words have power in our relationships. Words have the power to make friends. They have the power to end relationships. They have the power to ruin or make someone's day. Words are so extremely powerful. And the thing is, when it comes to conflict, I think most of us aren't trying to be jerks. We're not trying to hurt people's feelings. We're not trying to make people feel bad. But when we're not careful, that can happen, right? Sometimes when we're not thinking about it, we say something that just really cuts someone deeply. We say something that really hurts someone. Maybe they've got something in their life that makes them insecure, and what we say just cuts right to that. What we say and how we say it often carries more power than we realize. And so the question that we want to talk about tonight is there a way for us to communicate during conflict without losing our cool? What does God have to say about how we communicate with each other and how we talk to each other? Well, over the course of this series, we've been looking at the book of Proverbs. And the book of Proverbs is just a book in the Old Testament with a lot of short, wise sayings that are really easy for us to apply to our lives. And I believe that the book of Proverbs is so incredibly applicable when we think about conflict and how we deal with other people. So before we do that, I want to make a quick observation. Number one, dealing with conflict isn't something that only our generation has dealt with. And secondly, you are not the first teenagers to have to navigate through dealing with conflict. And using your words, you are not the first teenagers to have to deal and struggle with how you use your words and using your words wisely. And so let's take a look at this proverb. It's Proverbs 15:1. Proverbs chapter 15, verse 1. Take a look at it right here. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. You see, like many verses in Proverbs, this verse is communicating two different choices. And let's start with the second half of that verse. Look at it again. A harsh word stirs up anger. You see, harsh words are just unpleasant words that are usually spoken when someone is mad or upset or angry. Sometimes we can say harsh words without even realizing how harsh they actually are or how hurtful they actually are. But see, what happens is our harsh words that we speak right now solidify our consequences later. Now, let's go back to the first part of that proverb and see what the second choice is, or what the other choice is for us. It says, a gentle answer turns away wrath. A gentle answer turns away wrath. Have you ever met someone that is just really hard to be mad at them? Is there anyone in your life, maybe it's a friend or your dad or your mom or someone in your family or just someone at school, but because of the way they talk and because of how sweet they are, it's just really hard to be mad. Even when you should be mad at them, it can be really hard to be mad at them. And you see, I think that's kind of what this Proverbs is talking about here. That using gentle words can literally turn away anger. That it's hard to be mad at someone who's using gentle and kind words. See, our words have the power to either ignite and inflame the situation and make it worse, or to diffuse the situation. So when it comes to dealing with conflict and arguments, wisdom says that we have two choices. We can respond with gentle words, or we can respond with harsh ones. And this is where it gets so hard, because so much of what we do as people, we do out of instinct and out of this gut. So much of what I do as a person is reactionary. And oftentimes, and we talked about this last week, oftentimes when I say something hurtful or I say something that I really shouldn't have said, it's because I was just reacting in the moment. It's because I didn't take time to think. And last week we talked about being patient. So we have the choice to be patient, but the other choice we have to talk about here is the words that we use. When we react, when we respond, when someone says something hurtful, or when we're in conflict, do we use harsh words or do we use kind ones? And I want to make this clear because I feel like our generation has a tendency to want to really avoid conflict at all costs. We never want to disagree. We never want to have deep conversations where we, disagree with each other. We want to constantly be politically correct. But I want to make it clear that conflict in and of itself is not a bad thing. Conflict is natural. From the book of Genesis to right now and today, all throughout our history, we see conflict. And a lot of that conflict has been good. A lot of the best things, the best innovations, the best inventions, some of the best laws that we have were made out of conflict. They were born from conflict. Conflict in and of itself is not a bad thing. But the problem is how we handle conflict. Because how we choose to handle ourselves during conflict will determine whether it's good or bad. And so much of that has to do with our words. So much of whether or not conflict is good, productive, or hurtful depends on how we use our words. So when it comes to dealing with conflict in our relationships, the question we have to ask ourselves is this: would I rather make a point or be heard? Would I rather make a point or be heard? Do I solely care about people hearing and knowing my opinion, or do I want people to actually listen to me? Because those are two different things, right? Hearing and listening are two different things. Someone can hear what I'm saying, but if I'm saying it loudly, if I'm saying it rudely, if I'm being overly aggressive or using hurtful words, they're probably not going to take what I'm saying that seriously. they're probably not going to take it to heart. But if I speak with kindness, if I speak with the love of Christ, someone is much more likely to take what I say seriously. And this is something that I've tried really hard and am not always successful at. But this is something that I've tried really hard to do in my own life. It is to slow down and to think before I speak and to focus on the words that I'm saying. Because, as a speaker, as a youth minister, I don't want kids to just hear me. I don't want to just be this guy standing on stage saying all these words and it just flowing in one ear out the other. But I want to be someone who, when I speak, people take it to heart. Not because I'm loud and not because I'm the loudest voice in the room or the biggest voice in the room or the most aggressive voice in the room, but I want people to take what I say to heart because they know that it comes from my heart. And so that's what I think it means to use kindness in our words and to really speak the way that Jesus has called us to. Just being someone who brings a little calm and a little patience to situations can get you so far in life. Being a peacemaker is one of the things that I believe is at the foundation of what it means to be a Jesus follower. And I believe that peacemakers are much more likely to get far in life than those who just constantly cause conflict. So what do you want to be? Do you want to be a peacemaker, someone who slows down, uses their words wisely, focuses on using wise words rather than just saying whatever they have to say to get noticed or to be heard? Or do you want to be someone who's known for causing conflict, who's known for constantly causing trouble and saying hurtful things? What I've learned in my life is that when I think about the people that I want to spend my life with, the people that I want to surround myself with, I want to surround myself with the peacemakers. I want to surround myself with people who are constantly building me up and not trying to tear me down, who are constantly building other people up. I want to surround myself with people who sound like Christ. And I know that my personal goal, and I hope that yours is too, our goal has to be to try to sound more and more like Christ every day. So here's the bottom line. If you want to be heard, use gentle words. If you want to be heard, use gentle words. How would your friendships and your relationships be different if everyone chose to use gentle words? What would it look like in your house right now? And we talked about this last week, but we're all stuck in our houses with our families. We're spending way more time with our families right now than we normally do. What would it look like in your house right now if everyone chose to use gentle and kind words? What would it look like at your school if everyone chose to use gentle and kind words? What would our ministry be like if we constantly focused on being gentle and kind the way Jesus was? Now, again, let me stress, this doesn't mean that there's not going to be conflict. There will always be conflict. Jesus was involved in conflict, but he handled it in a way that was gentle and kind and pure. And that's what we have to be focused on. We're not trying to be conflict avoiders because we know that conflict can lead us to a better place. Conflict can help us grow. It can help us grow in our ministry. It can help us grow in our personal life. It can help us grow spiritually. But how we handle conflict is what matters most. So I want you to ask yourself this question tonight. Am I strong enough to use gentle words with my family and friends? Am I strong enough to use gentle words with my family and friends? And this question seems kind of weird because typically we don't think of gentle and strong in the same category. When we think of strong, we tend to think of loud and big and aggressive and in your face. But what we see in Christ is that true strength comes from a place of gentleness and peace. True strength comes from a place of gentleness and peace. So the question tonight is, am I strong enough? Are you strong enough to use gentle words? Are you strong enough to approach your relationships with gentleness? Listen, I have really enjoyed this series looking at the book of Proverbs, and I really appreciate you being here tonight. As I've told you before, I am so excited, and as I am every day, to just see how God is using each and every one of you. I want to thank those of you who have submitted Verse of the Day videos. I know that has been a huge encouragement to so many people, and it's been a big encouragement to me. If you haven't done one yet, don't worry. We're going to come to you soon. Our goal is for every volunteer and every student in our ministry to do one of those videos here in the next few weeks. Don't forget, Sunday night at 7:30 on Zoom, our Connect groups are going to be continuing. And so if you're not in a Connect group already, let me know, because we want each and every one of our students to be a part of our Connect group ministry. So just give me a text, shoot me a text, or give me a call, and I will make sure to get you set up with your Connect group leader. Listen, guys, I pray that you have an amazing and blessed week. See you later.